y'all? Welcome back to the Israel podcast where we talk about
shit,
everything. I'm your host Leah.
And I'm your host Journey.
And in today's episode we're talking
soul ties.
Soul ties. Sex, baby. Sexual exchange.
Let's talk
energy.
about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Remix.
The
Sex.
bubbles in the
That's
tub.
sex. Hey,
Talk about
and making love. Making love. Okay. I really don't know where that jam session came from, but anyway, so what we're gonna get into is sexual energy exchange. We're gonna get into soul ties, all like little forms of soul ties, what a soul tie is. We're gonna get into the effects, and we're gonna maybe drop some, some stories and experience, because we always drop stories. We never stay on key.
We're trying to stay on key this one.
Right, so we got a little piece of paper to guide us and keep us on key, because y'all know
it's gonna help.
Right, so if you're on YouTube, subscribe now. Make sure you're hitting that bell down there so you can get notified when we drop a video. All right, so sex, what is it?
Sex is sex to me, I think, is just when two or more people come together and kind of experience, pleasures, and we don't always have to create a baby before we have sex,
of course.
But just have just have a pleasureful moments,
Right.
And,
so
I don't feel like I need to go real into
detail of what sex is.
You guys took sex,
What sex is to me is a sacred sexual energy exchange. You are exchanging your energy. You are being intimate with that person. Your divine masculine, your divine feminine are now becoming one. Your energy is now becoming one. And what is that? And mind you, sex is really,
I'm sorry, I mean to yawn. I'm tired.
Child, we really tired. It's really, I'm really
tired. Is more than one in here? Is more than just us two?
Anyway, I'm tired too. But what was I finna say? What was I saying? Oh yeah. Divine.
What sex is to you?
Right. But I was also saying that sex is one of the most vulnerable moments. That's when we're most vulnerable. When our energy is most vulnerable, and we don't realize that. So sex can go into, and not even go into, sex creates a soul tie. So what is a soul tie? I think
what are you talking about? This is soul tie. This is not fucking Soul Train. Anyway, I think a soul tie is like two people exchanging energies that is sometimes, or it can seem like it's unbreakable. I would say it's always, I feel like you can break a soul tie.
Which you can.
Yeah, you can. And I just feel like that bond that two people have is very strong. It can be transferred through sex, through conversation, through multiple things. So
yeah. So to me, a soul tie is basically what I was just saying. Like, through sex, you have that energy exchange, and now it's you and your partner at that moment becoming one. Your energies are becoming one. And what happens when you create that soul tie? It's not always a negative type of experience. We're not going to make it seem like it's in soul ties or negative. That's not what we're saying. But when you create that soul tie, now you're taking on the energy, you're taking on the DNA, because if you're not using a rubber, if you ain't wrapping it up with a rubber, I love to use the word rubber. I just feel like I'm grown. Like, when I use the word rubber.
I don't think words make you grown.
Okay, first of all, you took it too literal. I was just saying, like, back in the day they were saying rubber. Hand me the rubber.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so if you're not using a condom, you're exchanging DNA. When you're exchanging DNA, you're exchanging information. So when you are creating that soul tie and that sexual exchange, you are now taking on the energy, the information, the characteristics, so to speak, of that person, of your partner, and not only just Right, and not only just that partner, but everybody else they didn't decide to have sex with, and they are taking on the same thing, and everybody else that you had sex with. So you do have to be careful, because think about it like this: would you want that person's characteristics? Like think about it like that before you lay down with that person. Like, do I really like? Am I really fucking with that person?
I think people look at the physical attributes of people.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh my god, he is fine, or oh my god, like she is amazing, like she has a bomb body, or girls are like, he's really tall, and all stuff like that. And then you get to talk to somebody and right, it just goes downhill. Like, that person is just not what you thought. Mm-hmm. But you're still so attracted to them on a physical level that you're willing to take it to the next level, to a physical level between the both of you. So I don't think people actually are thinking about it. They're just like, I'm having sex with somebody who is fine as hell. But yeah, you're also having sex with somebody who's has a whole lot of depression or anxiety or past trauma, a whole lot of baggage, and now you're taking on that baggage without even realizing it.
And I do also want to say that people might have a super powerful energy, and someone else's energy may not affect them as much. So I don't want it to be a situation where people feel like, oh fuck, when I have sex I'm creating a soul tie and everything is bad, like I'm taking on everything. Like, you essentially are exchanging that energy. It is an energy transfer. Yeah. But you don't have to always look at it like that, like a bad thing. Like, we're basically just...
Yeah, no, it's not always a bad thing, because, you see, like, movies.
I was going to say, we're basically just trying to say what it is. But go ahead.
What was you trying to say? Anyway, you see, like, movies and stuff where, people have sex and then they come out and they're, like, really... feels themselves.
So good to be alive, baby, as
like,
Ralph Smart says.
You feeling yourself, you got your head held high, you like you got your Taraji P and Think Like a Man,
groove back.
You got your groove back, you know what I mean? And that's probably because, yes, of course, the sex was probably amazing, but whatever that person had on an energetic level, you needed. You know what I mean? But you also have movies where it's bad. You have situations where it's bad, and you, like, after you're done, you're like what the hell was that? And it's probably because it was not good sex. It was either fast or like ended soon or whatever. But also they took something from you. And have you ever had or been in a moment where you've been done having sex or whatever, and a person is like, woo, like, I did that, and like they're excited and they feeling themselves, but you're over there like you feel like you did something. Okay,
right, but not only that,
they probably took something from you that
they
needed,
right? Or like you ever roll over and you're just kind of feeling like you kind of feel like shit.
You see the movies where them girls are like,
but don't make it seem like that. But like if you've ever been in a situation where you have sex with someone and then like maybe like right after or like a week later or like the next day you feel like shit and you're just like, yo, like I don't know why I'm feeling this way. There's nothing wrong as far as like my external appearance as far as life that would make me feel like shit. You got to think back to what are those characteristics of that person. What is that person's energy looking like? What frequency are they vibrating on? Because you just took on to that. So if you are all of a sudden depressed, you experience anxiety, you are just just certain things, you're thinking about that person constantly, you created that soul tie with that person. A lot of people don't realize that after you have sex with someone and maybe weeks or months go by and you thought you never would think about that person again, sometimes you think about that person and you're just like, why the fuck am I thinking about this person? I haven't seen this person in a long time. Or all of a sudden this person texts me. Y'all exchanged, y'all transferred energy, y'all created that energy cord. That's what happened. So it's just like your energy, not that it's now his energy or anything like that, but it's y'all are sharing that cord. So think of it like this, because a lot of people still be like mumbo jumbo, and I'm just be like, tap in.
I like gumbo.
Tap in. But anyway, you said you like gumbo?
You said mumbo jumbo. It made me think of gumbo.
Child, I'm so hungry. You want to have spaghetti or ramen?
I don't want ramen.
Vegan spaghetti?
You cook ramen every day.
Vegan ramen? Because, bro, it's so easy.
You can have spaghetti.
Bet. That's what I want. But anyway. Anyway, so think about it like this. Say you walk into a room. Oh my goodness. Say you walk into a room, right, and you're like, I can feel the energy, or I can feel like a presence of like, you know, like it's a bad energy in that room. Like, say you're one of those people that walk into a room and you're like, I felt the energy and it just wasn't a good energy.
Yeah.
That's the energy, like transferring of energy that you felt. The same thing happens when you have sex.
Yeah.
So say you are, you know, on your shit, quote unquote, whatever that means for you.
Mm-hmm. Say
Say that you have love in your heart or whatever, and maybe your partner is the same way. They have beautiful characteristics about themselves. They vibrate at a high frequency. Y'all share that vibration or whatever. Then when y'all become one, that could be a good thing. Like, that could be a good sexual exchange. Sex isn't a bad thing. You know, it's not a bad thing. I didn't even know. We finna get into background a little bit. So for a long time, like we already stated, we grew up in the church, and not to shame the church or anything like that, but our experience was just a little different. So for us, we thought sex meant if you were having it outside of the covenant, outside of marriage, you were going to hell. Yeah. So for me, I didn't even know what a soul tie was, because all I knew about sex was don't have it until you're married, and if you do, you can get an STD, you can get pregnant, or you can go to hell. So that was like my thought process. Nobody really talked about sex with us, because society doesn't talk about sex. We don't talk about the exchanges of sex, what can happen, things like that. So when younger minds want to know, it's just like, don't have it.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
They have it.
They having it. That wasn't me. I was afraid, because I felt like God was looking at me every second, micromanaging. Like, I see you down there, hot twatting. Stop it. Like I thought, dotting and bopping. I thought God was like, look, I see you. So for a long time, I feared sex. I didn't know what soul ties was. And I thought that I was unclean if I had sex. So I kept my virginity. I was like, I would be unclean. Men would look at me like I was unclean. And I kept my virginity until I stepped out of that thinking, until I opened my mind, until I kind of stepped out of that practice, stepped out of that faith, you know, so
as far as Christianity.
Right, as far as Christianity. Nothing wrong. You know, people can practice what they want to practice, like, period. But anyway, this is not a spirituality versus religion video. But yeah, until about 2014, 2015, I had a spiritual awakening, and I began my spiritual journey, for lack of better words or whatever. And I started to figure out what soul ties were and stuff like that, and I started to understand energy, my energy, Kundalini, all of that. I started understanding what that meant. And so now I was like, I want to harness my virginity because I want to keep my energy safe, you know. And if I do want to have sex with someone, it has to be someone that I am in love with, because I know that once I have sex with someone, once we have that experience, we share that experience together, now we are becoming one within that experience, and now you have my energy, I have your energy, type of thing. So I waited, I kept my virginity and everything like that, and then I fell in love, you know, later off in college and stuff like that. So when was your first time, not your first time, but when was the first time you found out about what a soul tie was?
About 2 days ago. No, I'm joking.
I'm sorry. That was funny too.
I'm joking, but then again, I'm not really joking.
You didn't know,
because
I
didn't know. Like, I think, you know, You were a curious kid, I think.
I was a very curious.
You were a very
kid.
curious kid. You had a lot of questions, and for me, I was kind of cut and dry. Like I had questions in my mind, but I would never express them or I would never ask them. So I just, when it came to sex, I was told don't do it, so I didn't do it. You know, that was kind of really cut and dry. I never thought about it. I'm lying. I did think about it, but it as far as going as deep as a soul tie, I had no idea about what that was, what that consisted of. Like, it was just like, what? Like a soul tie? What does that mean? Like, is it like, I would think if you were to tell little journey in the church, like soul tie, I would think it has something to do with like God. You know what I mean? And it does. No, I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying like, it was.
You didn't think it had anything to do with sex,
right? I didn't think it had anything to do with sex
or other people,
right? Involving other people. So I just kind of like never thought about it. But when I started to, of course, fray away from religious thinking and everything, I started to actually try and pay attention to the things that the things.
Sorry, I disclaimer, because a lot of people have messaged me saying like, you move around a lot. I don't have ADHD. Thank you.
Although you've never been tested.
I don't have ADHD.
Okay.
I don't have ADHD. I just move around a lot. Like, that's just, I can sit still when I need to sit still. I don't have a problem sitting still. But whenever I'm talking and engaging, I don't sit still like that. Whenever it's very intimate conversation and stuff like that. And I feel like this is an intimate conversation.
It is an intimate conversation. So yeah, I guess I just never really thought about it. I guess that's the answer. I never had a specific moment where I was like, okay, this is what a soul sign means, until we had to, of course, do research for this podcast. So,
But yeah, a lot of people, if you research anything about ancient civilizations, which you should, because like I said, it's not a spirituality video, but you should. A lot of
it seemed like it is, though.
But in a way, it taps into spirituality. So a lot of ancient civilizations looked at sex and then the orgasm as how can I put this? Your oneness or closeness to the creator. So when you have an orgasm, that is when you're closest to the creator. A lot of ancient civilizations look at sex like that as far as the orgasm.
Powerful.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful and it's very sacred. And we, a lot of the times, I'm not saying don't be a sexually liberated being, because when it comes
go out
to
and have sex, people, please.
When it comes to women, no, nothing wrong.
Yeah.
When it comes to women, we are looked at as don't have, you can't have multiple partners. Society basically marginalizes us when it comes to having sex. Like sex isn't for us. Like, sex wasn't created for us. Sex was created for the pleasure of a man, and you are supposed to pleasure that man. Absolutely not. So then you have women breaking those barriers, breaking those chains, and saying, no, I'm going to step into my sexuality. I'm going to step into my femininity and get what I want. And that's perfectly fine. Do what you want, ashe. But what I will say is this. You have to be careful with that. You do have to be careful because, experience.
And men too have to be careful with that as well. It's a what is it, a moon and sun?
Yeah, it's like you're like the woman is the moon and the man is the sun. So it's like you're
pulling
and pushing.
And research. It's like water and rays and stuff like that. Anyway, but shit, what was I gonna say? No, I felt like you was gonna ask me something. Are you gonna ask me something? Oh, you were gonna ask me anything?
I wasn't gonna ask you that.
Okay, so have you ever experienced a soul tie before, and if you have, what level was it on?
Like the effects and shit?
Yeah.
Yes, I've experienced a soul tie, and right now we're only talking about sexual soul ties, because like we said, you can create soul ties that aren't through sexual interaction. Yes, when I decided to fall in love, or when I fell in love,
You decide to fall.
I mean, I didn't decide, but when I fell in love, what was this? 2019, 2018?
I graduated 2018, so yes.
Well, I was already in love with this person, but it happened in 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So yeah. So 2 years ago. Anyway, so yes, I created, we had that soul tie, and I was the woman I was the friend, first of all, who was left out of all of the sex conversations. So like all my friends was talking about getting it in, talking about they was dickmatized. That right there, being dickmatized and pussy whipped, that is real. That is what the physical interaction of a soul tie can do to you. Because
people think it's just kind of like, oh, the dick was so good. Yeah, okay, but why?
Right.
You have to think about.
You have to think about it psychologically too. Like what's going on here. Critically think, like I always say to people, make sure you're critically thinking, because you just like, girl, that put that, and you're not realizing what that nigga is doing to you, like, like on an energetic type of level or a spiritual level. I was the one who was just left out of the conversation and stuff like that. And then once I decided, when I had a soul tie or whatever, I was one of the women who felt like I had to be sexually liberated because society said that I couldn't. So it wasn't that I was out there creating soul ties. Let me create soul ties. Let me create soul ties. I was definitely not doing that, because I definitely understood the value of energy. Did you look at me?
You almost hit me in the face.
I definitely understood the value of energy and everything like that. But at the same time, I felt as though I'm a powerful being. I know my energy. I know my divine feminine. I can handle anything that comes my way. So if I had a sexual encounter, I wasn't realizing the effects of what that was doing to me. Mm-hmm. So I remember a time, I'm going to give y'all just 2 examples, because it's not like I have a whole bunch of examples to give anyway. But I remember, anyway, I remember one time I was feeling it so, how can I put this? So anxious. Like my anxiety was on 10. Mind you, I do have anxiety, but I'm not going to say I do have anxiety, because I believe your words are powerful. So I'm trying to get into that mindset no matter what. Like, anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, I was just trying to feel like why I was feeling so down, why I was feeling like, what's my purpose in life, when I knew I knew all of these things. I was one with the Creator, all of these other things, but I started to feel really down and really low. And pause, for our YouTube viewers, is kind of, the sun is going down, so it's kind of getting a little dark. But yeah, I was trying to figure out why I was so down, why I was so like low and stuff. And then I had to take a step back and think, this person operates kind of with this frequency.
Yeah.
Leah, that wasn't a soul tie that needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then another situation was, I started to really dislike this person. Like, I started to really hate this person. And I don't know where that come from, because I don't have hate in my heart for anybody. Like, I don't radiate off of hate.
What are you talking about? Yeah, man.
Yes. Like, absolutely. I started to like be like, ugh. Like, y'all can't, if you ain't watching this on YouTube, you can't see my face. But I just started to do like, and it was just because that person drained a part of my energy, right? I'm not gonna get all into my spiritual essence of what happened, but we don't realize that sex and intimacy and things like that is a energy exchange. It's an energy exchange. So that's really like my experiences with soul ties and stuff like that. And then also, we don't realize that sexual energy equals creative energy, which is, if you know anything about, people say chakra, people say chakra. If you know anything about the chakra system, you know that
sorry about the knocking.
Oh yeah, the knocking, it's our refrigerator. But anyway, if you know anything about the chakra system, you know that your sacral chakra is your creative energy. That's also your sexuality and things like that. So Sexual energy equals creative energy equals your sacral chakra, and it's all one. It's all connected. Everything is connected. So they're pulling that creative energy out of you.
Yeah.
You're pulling that creative energy out of them. Y'all are exchanging creative energy. If that person has a lack of creative energy, if that person is not balanced within that chakra, you are now pulling that energy within yourself. I'm not saying that to be a bad thing. Now, it is a bad thing if their energy isn't good. But if their energy is on peak and y'all have exchanged that's a good thing.
That's a bomb thing.
So, do you think that you've created a soul tie?
I have definitely. I mean, I don't think this other person thinks of it, as a soul tie.
Now, wait, was it a sexual energy soul tie or was it?
No,
social?
it almost was, but no. Thank Lord. But I think I'm gonna talk about the. Sorry, that's our ice. It's our ice maker. It's fucking annoying. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna talk about how you can create a soul tie without it being sexual. Mm-hmm. So I will say that there was this one time where I was talking to somebody that wasn't really on my level, and wasn't my type as far as
level.
Wasn't my type as far as they were beautiful, beautiful person on the outside. I'm not saying they weren't beautiful on the inside, just from what I could see was, iffy. And yeah, so I just I guess I was, just looking for something, and I had never really experienced a relationship or talking to somebody, and this happened. So basically, this person wasn't really feeding me in the way that I needed to be fed. Nom, 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 nom.
Oh my God.
This person wasn't really feeding me in the way that I needed to be fed, but I still always wanted to talk to that person. I always wanted to, be around that person or whatever it was. I just wanted, I think that it was a form of, being bored, but also deeper. If you want to get on the deeper level, I think it was something else there. So, they were kind of like, hey, you don't want to hook up, basically. I'm not going to go into details, but basically you want to hook up. And I said, yeah.
You said yeah?
I said yes.
You dead ass?
You're going to read the messages are long.
Right, I didn't say yeah.
Deleted. But yeah, I said yes. And, I had some time to think about it, and I thought to myself, I had never really thought about sex on this level, but I thought to myself, what I want to take on that person's, kind of energy. Mm-hmm. And, because I already felt like, they weren't on my level. So why would I do that?
Frequency.
Yeah, we weren't vibrating at the same frequency. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, why would I want to do that? I'm well aware the only reason would be just for pleasure, only if you be for pleasure. So of course I said no, thank God. But after, time passed, it didn't work out, and, I ended things. And for some weird reason, that person was still always on my mind. Always on my mind. When we ended things, I felt bad. And, it was a situation where I just couldn't stop thinking about that person. I wanted to hit them up. I wanted to, basically try again. But it's for what? Honestly, now I'm thinking back, try again for what? But yeah, that's basically what I wanted. And I had to take a step back and think to myself, why was it like that? And, all these, it's been almost a year now, and I still don't know why, or what it was about that person. But, and I feel like that, to me, that's the only soul tie that I can think of.
And that could be a number of reasons. I mean, it could be that person's in your soul group. It could be a number of reasons that don't pertain to this topic, which will pertain to other topics. But no, like if you want to chalk it up to you creating a soul tie, that's what you could have done, or that's what it could have been, because it doesn't have to be a sexual energy exchange.
It doesn't have to be a sexual energy exchange. I feel like there were. I'm not gonna say that the entire time we were talking, everything was terrible. Like, I'm not gonna say that. There were times where I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? But there were other times where I really enjoyed our conversations and things that they had to offer, and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe in one of them conversations, some energy that I needed, she gave. You know what I mean? And that's why I guess I was kind of looking for that after the relationship or the talking phase, whatever the hell you want to call it, was through. You know what I mean? So I know you don't like to think of it like that because you don't like that person, but because I can see you over here rolling your eyes. But...
I mean, tomato,
yeah,
potato, and whatever.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
So do you think that, like, circling back to like sexual energy exchange, do you think that you noticed a difference between in me? Like, do you think that you noticed a difference within me? Like, say if I, when I did have my first experience, did you notice a difference in my energy?
Yes.
Really?
That next day, I will never forget that. That is really weird. Like, I think in a sense I might be the child of who? No, what was her? Who was she the daughter of?
Excuse me for mispronouncing Miss Orisha's name, but Yemoja.
Yeah. Anyway, but they don't know what the hell we're talking about. Anyway, they might, I don't know. But anyway, shit, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So in that, after it happened, I noticed there was a difference in your energy. Like, you were taking me to, this is when I used to smoke. This is when I used to smoke.
Ain't nothing wrong with smoking some tree, baby. Ain't nothing wrong with smoking some tree.
I wasn't smoking tree. I was smoking vapes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when I used to smoke. Anyway. So you were taking me to go get a vape or fix it or something I had to do. And I remember the energy being very weird in the car.
Really?
Like, he was over the house that night or whatever. And I didn't know. I had no idea. Of course, I was in my room asleep. And I had no idea. But I remember the next day, like, you just being really quiet. Like, really quiet and just kind of to yourself. Like, you just, like, you didn't
really, child? I thought I was walking on water.
Well, it was that, but you probably were expressing it in a different way than you realized. Like, mentally, you were probably like, just, I'm walking on sunshine. And then all of a sudden, you were like, just leave me the fuck alone. That's what it came off as. So when you told me, and I asked you what was wrong, and you told me what happened, I thought that you didn't enjoy it. I thought it was a bad thing. I thought it was a bad experience. So yeah, I would say that I definitely noticed something different after like immediately after it happened. But not only that, but continuously. Like, I noticed the change, and especially after you guys ended things, then I really noticed the change, because it was kind of like something was missing from you that I did. That I didn't know what it was. And every time you would say something about moving on with your life and blah blah blah, that person would come up, and I would just be like, can you please get over said person, please? Like, I remember me, Mom, Charlene sometimes were like, what the hell was it about this little dude over here?
Little dude from across the street.
What the hell was it about him that was so special that you couldn't move on? But I don't think we actually realized, like, he was her first, all that kind of stuff that plays into soul ties.
Especially if you are creating that soul tie, and this is your first encounter, this is your first sexual encounter, it affects you in ways that you don't realize it. And I think during that time, I was walking on sunshine in my head, but I didn't know that I was taking on his characteristics. So, you know, I don't talk shit about anybody I used to date at all. So, but this isn't me talking shit about him. He was kind of a little lazy. I noticed that I started to get a little lazy, and I started to just mimic a little bit of his energy, and it was all like I couldn't shake the like thinking. Even I ended shit. Like I was the one who ended stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fathom why I was still thinking about him.
Same with me. That's what I just said. I'm the one that ended shit, and I was like, "What the fuck is this person still in my mind?" Like I ended things. Yeah.
And it don't like I circling to like your situation. It doesn't even have to be through sex, bro. Like you can have a soul tie and that should be not through sex, and you still thinking about that person.
Well, since we're talking about certain people in certain situations, we know who we talking about. You know, we ain't gonna say who we talking about, but so with that said person, did you see a change within me? Did you see any difference with me?
You defended that person so much, bro. Like you kept defending that person, bro, and I was just like, I don't have no ill will towards nobody at all, but I personally just didn't vibrate at the same frequency as that person did. So I couldn't see with these eyes. I couldn't see why you were talking to that person.
That's
why
how
you
it was with me and your little
right. I couldn't fathom why you were defending this person and all that. I'm like, you don't see, but I couldn't see, you know.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like some sort of change in the way you kept defending that person. You kept like, you would feel really like low or guilty, like your vibration started to low, like you started to sink more into your root chakra. And I noticed that a lot, and I was just like, ugh. Even like sometimes now, if that person's name is brought up, then it's kind of like I can kind of low-key feel that energy.
I feel it with you too, and said person. But I mean, that's just something that I feel like the most people, you know, are going to work on in the future, obviously, within cleansing those people. And I just kind of cleansed that person today. I just like,
and boom, so
unfollow.
You brought up cleansing. You can cleanse a soul tie. You can break or cut a energy cord. Now, am I gonna say you should break an energy cord? If you felt like the cord was a good thing, if you felt like the soul tie was a good thing, you don't have to cleanse, you don't have to break.
If it was something you felt like you needed,
if it was an experience you felt like you needed, any of that, you don't have to cleanse, you don't have to break it, but you can cleanse it. There are multiple ways you can cleanse it. You can talk with the creator and say, like, you know, y'all have a conversation. You go into meditation if you're going within to speak with the creator or whatever, and cleanse that person, you know, from your energy. You can have energy baths or whatever, spiritual baths, where you're cleansing that energy off. It's so many.
The best way.
For me, a good thing is writing that person's name down on a piece of paper, going outside, meditating, becoming one with the creator within yourself, and burning that paper and allowing yourself to move on. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, it doesn't matter if you shared that energy with that person. That is still your energy. You still have power to harness that power back. You can still restore that power. Like it doesn't matter if you've created that bond or whatever, whether that be sexually or not sexually. You still have power over your energy, and don't let no vibes.
And you have to do it. You really have to do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, I had to take a step back, and you know, I would see that person on Instagram and, you know, shit like that, and I'd be like, this person ain't even thinking about me. They're not even thinking about me. And I'm sitting here thinking about them. Why? For what?
For who?
Why? What is the purpose? What is the purpose?
Why, and where?
Yeah. What was the purpose behind me?
What was the reason?
What was the reason? Anyway,
oh my gosh.
There was really no purpose for me to constantly be thinking about that person.
Right.
Like it was just, it got to a point where it started to piss me off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever just like be thinking about somebody, like, what the fuck? Why am I thinking about you? Like, and you get mad. You know what I mean? So you have to do whatever you have to do, like meditate, talk with the creator, and take a bath, whatever you feel like you need to do to move on from that,
Mm-hmm.
do it. You know what I mean? And it's not easy. I don't want people to think that it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
It might be easy for people who you didn't have a very intimate connection with, like, you know, maybe you just had sex with them one time, like a one night stand kind of thing. And
those, and I was gonna actually tackle that too. That, you know, people have multiple one night stands. People have one night stand and feel like they didn't create a soul tie or anything like that. You may have created a soul tie, but it may not be as intense. So it may be easier for you to not feel their energy. It may be easier for you to feel as though, like, I'm good, you know. But go ahead. That was it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I don't think people think that
I'm listening.
Sorry,
viewers.
It's a. I think people automatically feel like, oh yeah, we can open it all the way now. Hey,
oh my gosh, you were in darkness that whole time.
Crazy. The sun was like, listen, I got to do what I got to do today.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so I feel like, you know, if you have more of an intimate, because for me, I never really was intimate with that person.
Mm-hmm.
You were intimate with the person. We were talking about more on a deeper level, so it might be easier for me to cut that tie than it is you. You know what I mean? Just because energies weren't exchanged sexually between us. You and, you know, versus you. So I feel like there's less work that I need to do than you. So yeah, but I also want to say that I feel like people think that when we talk about soul ties, like we said, it's only, you know, it's not only transferred through sex. You can have it in conversations, but it's not only transferred through people that you're in an intimate relationship with. It can be, we can have a soul tie.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad could have a soul tie. Me and my mom, or, you know, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my best friend, you know. So I want people to see, you know, if there's a soul tie between you and a certain person that's you're not intimate with or whatever, and ask yourself, is that harming me? You know what I mean? Is it hurting me? Is it, you know, helping me out in any kind of way? How is this benefiting me?
Right.
Is this adding to me? Is this taking away from me? What is it doing? And it, like I said, it hurts, and I can feel like, you know, it really hurts when it's like family, you know, because not everybody wants to give up a family member, or, you know, a best friend or somebody that they've known for a long time. But you have to know what's best for you and want what's best for you at the end of the day, because, you know, you sitting here, you living your life and you doing what you do, but you stressed, you depressed, you got anxiety skyrocketing through the roof. You know, you can't figure out what the hell it is. And then every time you come and you talk to me about certain people in your life, and you tell me about they shit, I'm like, bro, it's there.
They shit is now your shit.
That's literally
and
what you sitting here and you trying to figure out, where is this coming from? I don't deal with this. This is new for me. You need to cut ties with those people. I get it. You don't want to. It hurts. That's your best friend. That's whoever. That's your cousin. That's what. Yeah, cool. But guess what? You're not gonna move on until you move on from them.
And that was a mic drop all the way. Pin up.
Boom.
And you have to just be careful with women, spiritual women like myself, which is healers, goddesses, all of us. But we have to be careful. Women, we hold power in our womb. We hold power in our womb. So when we are having, and not even just spiritual women or anything like that, just women in general, we hold power in our womb. So when you are having that exchange, you have to understand the energy cord that you are exchanging with. It's okay to be, if you want to be sexually liberated, okay. But I'm just saying, you are very powerful. You are a very powerful being. And just because society says that we can't be these sexual beings or anything like that,
if you want to talk about WAP, talk about WAP. Period.
You want to have some wet, then hey. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You didn't have to say it.
But wet But anyway. But no, like, you know, if that's you, then that's you. But all I'm saying and all we're saying is you have to be careful of that, because you have energy vampires who lay up with you, who are sucking that energy that you have in that womb. You know what I'm saying? So, and men too, you have this divine masculine energy, and you have some women who aren't, for lack of a better term, deserving of that energy. Women, you have some men who aren't deserving of that energy. We have to become more valued. We have to value our sexual energy a little bit more. It's time to value that sexual energy a little bit more. I'm not saying don't have sex. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm just saying,
because a lot of people are like, so you trying to say I can't fuck? Like, you trying to say I can't go out there and say?
No, definitely do you, sweetie. Definitely do you. I don't care.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, know your power, baby. Know your power. Know that worth. Know that value. Know the value of that cook. Know the value of that cook. I was gonna say cookie, but I tried to, make it Leah slang and say cook. Know the value. Know the value of that. Men know the value of yourself and your sexual energy, and know what you're getting yourself into. Know that you are now, when you release, men and women, you are going into that Kundalini state. You are literally like not balancing, but you are connecting. So that's all I'm saying about soul ties and sexual energy and all of the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, people are gonna take it. Some people might not take it. But listen, you, at the end of the day, are taking it.
Do you notice that? Oh,
that was it.
Bars. Could you possibly be the new Rhapsody?
I say Kendrick, but
okay. Tomato. But what else was I about to say? Have you? Bro, come on now. I was about to say, have you noticed that when you have sex with someone, or like someone that you're in a long-term relationship with, like y'all been together like for years, bro? I'm talking.
They start to look alike.
They start to look at all of that. You start to be like, hold on, ain't this other energy supposed to be with? Like, if it's just one person, you be like,
every time
missing.
Every time I see, like, my friend, well, no, because I wasn't really close with her boyfriend. But okay, I take Charlene, for example, our cousin.
Shout out Charlene.
Every time I see her and her boyfriend,
that made me think of, hold on. When I said shout out to Charlene, it made me think of shout out to Africa.
If you know, you know.
We play too much, bro. We play way too much.
Focus. Anyway, anytime I see Charlene, I think of our boyfriend Justin. I'm like, I'm not trying to be name dropping, but they.
Y'all look,
they
family. Y'all family. What's up? Y'all gonna be in a podcast or something? Y'all gonna be in an episode.
Right. I was gonna say that. Anyway, so yeah, it's like, I feel like, what do you think, if you're talking, I wouldn't say scientifically, but when it comes to the body and the chakra system, why would you feel like that the reason that when you see somebody who's been in a relationship for a long time, you see them, you automatically think
of someone else? I think it's a psychological as well as a spiritual thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's everything that I said already, like that soul tie that is created. But also, if you look up, I believe it's Limbic bond, the Limbic bond, that literally explains. I forgot the psychologist's name, child, but he basically explains what a limbic bond is, and how when you are having sex, what's happening within your what's happening within you physically. So look that.
He said, what the fuck?
We need to eat and go to sleep. Y'all, we've been fasting, so it's like now we get to eat. Today we get to eat. So child, but anyway,
and we went to sleep hella late last night and woke up early, so we were like kind of
everywhere, and we just been moving. Yeah, I don't think they really care about it.
No, I don't think they do. I mean, they should,
Period. But no. So anyway, soul ties, what are they? They are an exchange of energy that you can create. It's energy transference, and I feel like I effed that word up, but it's an exchange of energy that you create whenever you are having sexual intercourse, not having sexual intercourse. It's just when you're exchanging energy. The effects, they can be good or bad. I mean, you can take on the personality of that person, you can take on characteristics, you're taking on that energy of that person. How do you cleanse? You got spiritual baths. If you are a Christian, you can go to your pastor to help you. Go to the creator, go within, all of that good stuff. I like to write the name, burn a piece of paper, call it a day. Anyway, guys, so first of all, we apologize for the lighting going in and out. We thought we would try to get some natural sun.
Y'all, we have been going at this for a minute, so like, I mean, the sun was high and bright when we first started, and now it's sunset.
It's just a lot going on. So if you're watching this via YouTube, we apologize. Via Instagram, we apologize for the lighting, but it wasn't about for y'all to see our pretty faces. It was about the message, right? Yeah. And just to kind of take in what soul ties are and kind of just reevaluate,
right,
who you out here laying up with. Mm-hmm. So, catch us next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching this via YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell down below so you can be notified whenever we drop another video.
And leave comments, guys. Please, we want feedback.
We want feedback, but not only do we want feedback, we want topic suggestions.
Right.
So, yeah, just remember, we love you.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. All right. Peace.